Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of TinkChat. Andy, we're talking a bit about all the little things that are happening in the industry today. Okay, when I call it little, it's not that small. It's actually pretty significant. So we wanted today to be a little bit about two segments in particular.
Yeah.
Huge advancements and huge amount of news this week, last week actually, combined 2 weeks, on 3D home printing.
Yep.
And then I think in the last like 4 days, 3 days or something, we saw a lot of announcements on new hardware from a whole bunch of companies. So we thought it was wise and probably a good utilization of time to just
provide an update.
Go over all these things. Because there are a lot of activity happening in the industry. Different segments, but still very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll jump into the first topic today. I think we're going to break it down into homes, an update on homes.
Yeah, and then we'll go into hardware.
All new machine stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So we did some digging. Homes, 3D printing homes. We've talked about this prior in our previous video.
Yep.
And these typically are machines that print out of like a cement material. Yep. Again, one layer at a time until the object is finished. But the conversation this last week has been actually around more about people living in the homes.
Living in that.
Delivering the homes. Yeah. Less about the actual technology itself, which is pretty awesome, I think. And I mean, let's start with the first one out of Europe.
Yeah, it's actually, it was boasted to be one of Europe's actually first 3D printed homes.
Right.
It's called Project Milestone. And the first house is actually built in Netherlands. And
of all places.
Yes. Which is, I don't know whether or not it actually insulates.
You know what? The Netherlands have been very forefront with regards to adopting technology. So, new technology innovations and implementation.
Yeah.
Like the Netherlands has actually seen a lot of that before anywhere else in the world. So I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So it is the same technology as we talked about in our first episode, which is cement. And layer by layer going all the way up. And interiorly speaking, from looking at the pictures, it's actually very attractive. It's a very attractive house.
Now, are you saying that the layers inside, being able to see the individual layers are attractive, or are you talking about the overall layout?
The overall layout.
Okay, because I remember last time you talking about how you would like the aesthetics to be more like traditional homes.
Yeah, I think so.
But I see character in having the individual thick layers exposed.
I agree with you. No, I don't agree with you. But I don't know. It was just, I feel like if it was just looking at the pictures, if it was a wallpaper, I'll be more okay with it.
I think
it's too raw for me.
I can see that. I can see that. I mean, but what I think is pretty cool is the fact that we're able to see now, like you know the saying Norwegian design, specific color palettes, gray, brown, green, that type of thing. Yeah. That's still very much present in these homes, right? I mean, cement is naturally gray.
Yeah.
Like you can't get rid of the color. Okay, you can play around with it a little bit. You can make it white. You can make it darker, whatever. But I think they actually played well upon the aesthetics of the shape.
And it's pretty attractive, I think.
So I think what is actually pretty cool is, like we've seen some of these other home projects, in Austin, in US, come up. And for me, what was really cool was the fact that now there's people living in it.
Yeah, so actually the first tenants actually moved in on April 30th, which is literally a couple days ago.
Yeah.
The whole project of this new 3D printed house is actually owned by a private company. So it doesn't seem like anyone can actually buy an individual unit for themselves right now.
Right.
So it's all rented out to tenants.
Yeah.
Whether or not this will be a trend in the future, we don't know. But
I also saw a couple of articles this week. I mean, this is not about the topics that we're covering today, but a whole bunch of articles this week talked about the transformative nature of 3D printing in cutting cost. Like 40-50% cost savings delivered to the consumer.
Yeah.
I mean, as last time I checked, there was a whole bunch of places around the world running into housing problems. I mean, Vancouver, where we're at, the homes are crazy. I mean, New York, California, Austin, Texas, like everywhere. It is a problem everywhere. And if you can deliver homes quicker, faster, cheaper, assuming that they're just as strong,
But I think it's a bit different with all the places that we just mentioned, because we have a lot of land. Let's say if we're looking at Asian countries,
right?
Sky rises. How would that translate over?
It probably wouldn't. Like, I mean, these are really good for single builds.
Yeah.
Right, but like high rises and
Probably
skyscrapers
won't work, right?
I can't imagine the amount of like how big that 3D printer needs to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be pretty impressive.
I'm sure we'll get there.
I don't think skyscrapers will see this technology change them in any way, shape, or form. At least I can't envision it. But
Not right now.
I can see components of a skyscraper maybe. But like 3D printed parts need to get stronger.
Yes.
Right. So where land is available, North America, anywhere that's not condensed. Like Asia is pretty condensed.
Yes.
I mean, we're like Asia is typically like an island nation. You get Japan, you've got Taiwan, you've got the Philippines, you've got Hong Kong, which is on a coast, and you don't really have much land to expand into. Like
that's
high density living is a thing,
Yeah.
and I'm not 100% sure how 3D printing is going to impact that.
Yeah.
But where you do have land, like Canada, US, all the other places, where you can actually like roll in the 3D printer and just let it do its thing for like 36 hours.
Yeah. And you pay like half the cost for it. That's a dream. I mean, well, for us.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Assuming insulation and all that stuff and code and all that's there.
Yeah.
Sign me up for a 3D printed home.
I'll probably have to do something about the aesthetics, but
just plaster the inside, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, if people like Eugene like the actual layers, I mean,
I can imagine cleaning being a problem, but I digress. Smooth walls are easy.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that has to be dealt with, and I mean, there's obviously people like you, Andy, who look at that and go, it's rough. Yeah. I want it to be different, and that kind of leads us into the next one, right? Which is a company. I forgot where they're from.
I believe they're Italian.
Yeah.
I think they're called Mario, or they call it Mario, or Mario. I'm gonna butcher his name, but it's Mario Cucinella Architects. I hope I said it right, but anyway,
we'll put an overlay on the screen.
Yeah. They actually 3D printed a house in Italy. Took 200 hours to print, but instead of cement, they actually chose clay.
Right. The aesthetics is kind of cool. I'll say this, which is, it's very rustic in the color palette. I mean, it's clay. It's like it's brown.
I think it looks like a coconut.
The shape is very organic.
Yeah.
And they really didn't use any traditional finishing methods. Everything was 3D printed.
Yeah.
They played on the design more than anything. I mean,
so
surely they have a sky dome on the top or whatever, a light dome on the top to let light in.
Yeah.
But this thing is a coconut shaped. It's round. It's circular. It's a dome.
Yeah.
And the furniture is inside. Some of the shelving.
Yeah.
Printed actually in the home. Right?
Yes.
So, like, I look at that and I think caveman.
Yeah.
And I think really rustic, really cool, really out there.
Yeah.
Crazy concept, but you don't get that with traditional builds, Andy.
No.
Like,
yeah.
You get square boxes in a home. This is organic shapes. This is
I agree with you.
Everything that like we don't get today.
It's innovative, but I don't know. This is totally weird because it's totally not what I'm about to say. Is it seems like we're kind of going back in time.
Yeah, there's something.
But then
that.
it's it's a new technology, right? If you get what I mean, it's more like a caveman
like experience
housing, and we kind of evolved from that to living in these
new modern
homes that are nice, elegant, sophisticated. But it's kind of like stepping backwards.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But man, there's something to the organic design. Like I'm like design is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Right. And I suppose one part of this project that this architectural firm is doing is they're invoking a conversation. Number one, like, do homes need to be this way, or can homes be a different way? Right? You've probably seen those more unconventional homes where they build it into the landscape of somewhere in the hills. This kind of evokes the same kind of emotions for me.
I think that was what the firm was actually aiming for. They wanted a natural
looking building.
Which is also why they chose clay, which is literally water and
Clay
mixed together, right?
Does it hold? I mean, it should.
It should.
Yeah.
Well, after it dries up, clay is supposedly pretty
What happens when it rains?
strong. I have no idea.
Like baked clay is strong.
Yeah.
But
I
raw clay?
don't know. It didn't mention whether or not they had to bake it afterwards.
Well, how could you? How could you? That's like rolling in a giant oven.
Yeah. You put a giant oven around it. I don't know, but it never said that. But it did say this whole design was designed very cleverly.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Anytime, like traditional manufacturing or even home construction,
Yeah.
you got to bring in labor, you got to bring in materials, you got to bring in tradesmen, you've got to put the fasteners in, you've got to nail things together, you've got to plaster the walls, you got to put the drywalls up, you got to.
Yeah.
That's a lot of different things. This is press a button, like design it on the computer.
Yeah.
Press a button.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Mm-hmm. So this is actually a self-supporting house.
Right.
It has no intricate framework at all.
I mean, a circle is one of the half circle is one of the strongest shapes, and I mean this is half like pretty much a half circle.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, they wanted to be all natural and also for people that apparently didn't get up to industrial revolution, like living in some modern homes. Like they mentioned something like that, yeah.
Like a third world type of home relief system.
Yeah, for people that can access this material, actually.
I'm gonna say that like this design gets the Eugene's approval, like stamp of approval.
I guess Eugene, I don't know if I can.
I mean, this is something that's so intriguing to me because, like, we're about to cover Icon, which is another company.
Yeah.
This is the third company. The first one did all of their 3D printed, including the roof is 3D printed. This one is a singular print, one go, right? And then, like, so many different approaches, all correct in their own ways. All does something a little different. Yeah. And I believe I want to say this: they all serve a different market.
Definitely. Yeah.
Right. So you never want to build one product. Like if you're in a market and you're competing in say modern homes, I'm the company coming in. For me to compete in modern homes, I wouldn't do that. No. I would go in and I would compete in something niche, something that's specifically that we're good at, and building organic shapes that no one else is doing. Yeah. Smart. Okay, so we're gonna transition to Icon. Yeah. Because their approach is totally different, at least from what we can find out. Yeah. Right. So Icon, we've covered this before. They're the company that built that home in Austin, Texas. Yeah. In the first episode that we covered. Yeah. And they launched their machine. I think it was a couple months ago, if not last year sometime. And now they're rolling into building homes. Yeah. But they're not building all of it.
It seems like they've changed and taken like a hybrid approach. The foundation of it is 3D printed with cement, and then they'll put a traditional constructed piece of a house on top of the 3D printed part.
I think this home is more your home.
I guess.
Because it's like a... Yeah. You know what's kind of interesting? You remember how we talked about these machines that are hybrid, CNC, additive This, it's like the combination of both. You still have your trades from the traditional construction, but you get the footing, literally the footing of the home built faster, quicker. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you know anything about housing construction. You lay the foundation, you put the formwork in, you pour your concrete, you wait a couple days, and you go in and you rip it all apart. Like, that's a lot of work.
Well, yeah.
So if you can print all that at a press of a button, takes like 4 to 8 hours, and there's no manual labor ripping things apart. That's what this could do. I think it's like they're looking at this from an augmentation perspective. Yeah. I still remember the Austin home. It was mostly all the walls were printed and they put in the roof. Yeah. This, they printed most of the side walls on the first level. Yeah. And then they constructed a second level out of wood.
Yeah. And they just covered it up.
As you would normally. Yeah.
Which is weird. I mean, it's new. It's definitely new.
I mean, I think it's more old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's more old than it is new.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
I think what's
how it
important
feels.
is that I think they themselves too are now getting into like they deployed a project that is now also looking to deliver the goods to people.
Yeah.
I mean, all these things are right,
Yeah.
and I think that's what is really cool about this 3D printing homes segment is that I can imagine soon, very soon, people living inside.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we already have, as we mentioned earlier, that people are already moving into these homes.
Yeah.
Especially the Netherlands one, with the couple moving in on April 30th. I don't know what their experience is.
Well, didn't they say it's kind of like it looked like it felt like a normal home?
Yeah. And they love it. They say.
Yeah.
But
a home's a home.
Living long term.
We'll have to find out.
We'll have to find out if there's any, I don't know.
So Cascadia region, so Canada, West Coast, which is where we live in, is an earthquake zone.
Yeah.
So those homes may not be good.
Yeah.
Again, we have code, seismic codes, and all that stuff. So I mean, durability is to be tested.
Yeah.
The tried and true wood construction, framing, all that stuff, tried and tested.
Yeah.
Whether or not cement homes can be, it's another scenario.
I have no idea.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure what Netherlands region is for seismic activity.
I
don't
think they have anything. I don't know. But there's also one company that we also looked at is called Mighty Buildings. They're based in California, and I actually like their aesthetics. But maybe that's because there's no more 3D printing aesthetics at all.
Because they covered it all up.
They covered it up. They post-processed the whole thing.
Do they do the outside too, or just the inside?
It looks like it's just the inside. The photos don't look like they have the outside. Like on the outside, it doesn't look like it's layered anymore. But I'm not too sure. But I know they do the inside.
Right. I think there is something to be said about getting the products more in line with what consumers are already familiar with. And I mean, yeah, sure. I'm very right field. I like the new things, the things that are more charming and have character, and obviously there are people that just like the things that we're so like the walls behind us. They're finished. So smart move, not for me.
It's cheap. 1,000-something square foot is like $400,000.
I mean, cheap is relative, but $400,000 is still a lot of money, Andy.
According, if you compare it to Vancouver real estate, it's cheap.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, on to the next segment. All the activity with regards to hardware, a lot of new machines being launched in this last week from the likes of, and I'll just sum it up and we'll go into each of them. Stratasys, Desktop Metal, and then we just heard some acquisitions like yesterday or a couple of hours ago by 3D Systems for machines. Okay, so Stratasys, everyone knows the company. They're one of the biggest in the world. Mostly known for the FDM, so the filament extrusion type systems.
Yeah.
What's interesting is they bought a resin-based company.
Yes.
And that's typically 3D Systems territory.
Yeah.
And so Origins was acquired for $100 million. They launched the Origin 1, a resin-based printer that looks to compete with the likes of Clip. So Carbon 3D's technology, which is continuous.
Yeah.
If you can't already tell, and maybe because I'm not overly enthusiastic right now, this is exciting because 3D printing is moving towards a question of scalability.
Yeah.
All manufacturing technologies fundamentally have to address this one thing. Can it scale? Like injection molding can scale, CNC can scale, can 3D printing scale? The faster the machine, the faster you can go. So this is what's exciting. So this is kind of what makes me kind of go, Stratasys getting into resin?
Yeah.
Is 3D Systems going to get into filament?
I mean, why not?
I suppose the lines are being crossed.
Yeah.
And having competition, having options is good in any market.
Is how you evolve.
Yeah. So they bought Origin. Then they introduced another printer that is by a new technology abbreviation called SAF.
Yeah, I have no idea what it was.
So this is one of the biggest problems with the 3D printing world in general.
Yeah.
Abbreviations. Every company that comes up with a piece of technology gives it a new abbreviation.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. FFF, FDM, MLDS. Sorry. So this is
that's right.
like
Yeah.
SLS, like Fusion Jet,
SLA.
PolyJet, SLA, Clip,
Yeah.
SAF. Like I can keep going.
Yeah.
And this is my pet peeve with regards to the industry, right? And I get why they do it because everyone wants to differentiate themselves. But SAF essentially is a powder-based technology that uses a binder that binds the powder and then post-processes it with infrared light.
Yeah.
It's still a powder-based technology.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, if I could just call it that, great. But what it's looking to do is address scalability problems as well, right? Getting close to injection molding type finish while utilizing 3D printing tech. And if you see them, if you look at some of the photos, it's pretty nice. Unprocessed is also pretty nice.
Yeah.
More like SLS in terms of finish, but once you actually like expose it to heat, it turns pretty smooth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, new technology sounds pretty cool. I don't think it's actually in the hands of any customers yet. I think,
they haven't said how much it is.
Yeah. So it's up and coming, but I mean, please, the industry, stop giving abbreviations. Like, just call it for the technology for what it is. And I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Anytime there's a new announcement, and I think this is what makes this year interesting, and kind of last year as well. So there seems to be huge amount of like really interesting new technology coming around.
Yeah. There was also a lot of merges, so technically we'll probably be seeing more down the year.
Yeah, yeah. And then the last machine that Stratasys launched is a large format FDM machine.
Yeah.
Like I think it prints. I don't even know what I don't remember the spec.
I don't know the build size.
But the photo showed two people hauling out a 3D printer.
Yeah, it was something like was this big.
It looked like an engine hood.
Yeah.
Right. But they call it F770. Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Makes sense. It probably is 770 millimeters.
Oh, is that why
that's
they
usually
named
that's how they usually name it. Which is like it's huge.
Yeah.
But again, the world is now starting to evolve. They're getting bigger application, larger objects. Totally makes sense. Yeah. They're just taking their traditional technology and then making it bigger.
Yeah.
I'm oversimplifying Stratasys if you're looking. So, yeah. 3 new printers just from Stratasys. And then we saw an article. I mean, I saw an article the other day about Desktop Metal.
Yeah.
They went public. I remember
a couple months ago.
End of last year, if I remember correctly, if not early this year. And they've been on like an acquisition trail.
Yeah.
And so what they identified was wood printing. They're a metal desktop printing technology, fundamentally speaking.
Yeah.
And I think they also bought a resin printer, if I remember covering it a couple segments back. But they acquired a company called Forest.
Yeah.
And
which is
Forest. And they print with wood powders.
Yeah. And then bind it up.
Use it with a glue binder, and they essentially print wood objects. Same, almost identical to the technology of PolyJet.
Yeah.
Instead of lighting like a layer of powder plastic, they layer powder wood, and then they go in with glue and selectively glue together the parts, and you get the object.
Yeah.
So again, a new technology. I mean, okay,
it's not new.
Okay, I think what's good, at least when I was doing the digging, is they didn't give it an abbreviation. Like they didn't give it some fancy abbreviative thing, but like new materials.
New materials.
Like, not really a new technology, but new materials. And in this industry, materials, part of the advancements in the industry of application is material advancements. Right. So we've been able to print wood filament type materials, but no one has really done anything about powdered wood. So this is actually pretty nice.
I guess.
Gives you kind of the SLS type of control.
Yeah.
Well, not SLS, but PolyJet, Fusion Jet type of control with a different material type.
Yeah.
So I give them props for that.
Oh, initially I looked at it and I was like, I would want one because it actually looks pretty nice. The stuff that they print.
The aesthetics is totally different, right? I mean, we're so familiar to wood. We know what wood feels like. We know the warmth that the color of the wood gives. We needed that in this industry, for sure. And then the last one was 3D Systems. Yep.
Which happened a couple hours ago, actually. 13 hours ago.
Well, at least I saw the article 12, 13 hours ago.
And 2 things they released. one was called Allevi.
I think they're acquired.
Acquired?
Yeah, I believe they're acquired. And well, they acquired or partnered. Can't remember which one. I believe the word was. I remember reading it. It was acquired.
Oh, so, okay. So they now own it.
Yeah, which is a biomedical printing platform.
Yeah.
And so they both make machines for bioprinting and the bio ink itself.
Yeah.
Bioprinting is very, very early in its days.
Yeah, well,
I do not believe there is a single machine on the planet today that I would say, print that organ for me, put it in. I don't think.
I think it's still in a lot early stages of research.
Infancy. I would say the technology is definitely infant technology. That's kind of funny. It's in its infancy, and there's no testing done yet. Nothing that I've heard of that is 3D printed kidney gone into person.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard that. They just all the news that I've heard was just they have successfully
printed cells.
Printed cells.
Yeah.
Or like printed the heart thing.
I do believe we'll probably see printed meat
before
we actually get functioning organs. It makes total sense to see that beforehand using bovine cells and stuff like that.
The whole printing cells and everything, yes, it's taking your cells and everything and less likely to reject it. But
right. There's still a lot of clinical trials before all that happens. Mm-hmm. But I think we'll see food before that, which will use fundamentally the same technology. So this is all good stuff.
Yeah.
And then 3D Systems also acquired I'm going to call it a software simulation company.
Yeah, software, definitely.
And what they do is they make a software package that allows people to simulate their laser-based 3D printers before they actually print it. So the keyword here that I got was first time right.
Yes.
So getting that process, because like when you laser 3D print and you get it wrong, it's costly. You wasted materials, we wasted powder, and then you got to have somebody go in and clean it. And getting that right the first time is absolutely.
I agree. I mean, I think it's a marketing thing first of all because
it's a good software thing. Like assuming 3D Systems actually gets into, if not they already have some metal printing technologies available, then absolutely.
I mean, it's enticing to companies, as Eugene said. It's costly to screw up.
Yeah.
But 3D printing is all about prototyping and the fastness, like efficiency of, and I think it's.
And you still have much to learn. I think 3D printing is two parts.
Yeah.
So there is obviously design.
Yeah.
There's the prototyping and making sure you get the physical object.
But your design can never be perfect in the first go.
Oh yeah, you can't get it perfect.
Yeah.
But if you simulate it, it can actually get better.
Still not perfect.
Well, yeah, they never said perfect.
But first time right makes it sound like print it the first time it's good.
No, so when they the design can't be perfect the first time.
Yeah.
I would argue design can never really be perfect. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
What they're talking about first time right is manufacturing. They want the process of manufacturing when you press that button to be able to walk away and come back every single time perfect.
Yeah.
You don't really want manufacturing to be a prototyping process. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if you can simulate the manufacturing, make sure that angles are right, orientation's right, the part strength is right. When they press that button and the machine starts printing, they don't deal with all the headaches of the manufacturing going wrong. That's what they want to get right. That makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I do agree with you. Design will never be perfect. Like anyone that tells you I've designed a perfect thing, never believe them.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that if there was a perfect design, Apple would have gotten it with their iPhone already. And they're still what version is it now? 13? 14?
12, 13, something like that.
Proven case in point.
Yeah.
Design won't be perfect. Okay, so case in point, you literally can't get perfect design.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah. This software package makes sense though. Especially for metal powder printing. FDM is really cheap.
Yeah.
You load in your filament, it costs a couple cents, you screw up.
Yeah.
You restart.
Yeah.
Metal printing, totally different. See, when you metal print, the metal sticks to the plate.
Yeah.
And then it's got to be CNC ground flat again.
Yep.
Right.
Also the material.
And then because the chamber heats up, not all that material can be reused. So you got to then put it through the filtering, recycling process that gets rid of all that.
Yep.
And then now you have a technician there cleaning the machine the whole entire you don't want to mess up with 3D with laser printing. You want to get it right the first time.
Yeah.
And that's why the software, when they say first time right solution, I see that as you know what, for laser metal printing, that needs to absolutely be done. The hobbyist printer is totally different scenario, but for production use, absolutely. So all really smart moves by all these companies. I mean, if this is what we're expected to see in 2021, I mean, we're at the end, beginning of Q2.
Yeah.
Right. I'm excited to kind of see what's going on with the other manufacturers, HP and some of the big boys that are playing with the more interesting stuff. I mean, okay, these are all interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we'll see it at the end of the year.
So I think we'll see it peppered throughout the year.
Probably that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, usually companies, they want to, take the spotlight, right? After someone releases something, they want to release their product.
Yeah, we're still going through COVID, so no CES. I mean, CES didn't really happen this year.
But everything changed. It's always online now.
Yeah, everything's online.
They have this PowerPoint or this very nice CGI.
Or talking head. Okay. That's all for this segment. I'm going to wrap this up because otherwise we're going to go into 45 minute territory. But that's it for this segment of TinkChat. We're keeping an eye closely on the industry with regards to all the different things. We're also making a whole bunch of different scenarios with regards to, a whole bunch of different scenarios. We're making a whole bunch of new products with regards to skills and cloud and making all that stuff. So we'll do a follow-up on all those things too, as things develop. Whole slicing side of the world, that's pretty interesting. With regards to all the developments happening as well. So maybe we'll do one on that. If that's interesting. So I'm gonna wrap this up. You wrap it up. I'm really bad at the outro stuff.
Okay, so remember to subscribe, press the button underneath our video, also the bell button next to it, so every time we release a new video that you'll be notified by YouTube to say that we released one. We'll still be releasing these on Spotify, so you don't have Spotify and Anchor, so if you don't have time to actually watch us on YouTube, you can listen to our podcast on those channels as well. Just search up TinkChat. And I guess that's everything.
I think so.
Oh, remember to comment.
Yeah, leave us any comments. If there's anything with regards of interest to you guys wanting us to do a deep dive on, we'll try.
Or just questions when we'll just answer it in the next segment.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. We'll sum that up. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.